All right, and with that said, welcome everybody, and sorry for my delay today. I got a new computer and it wasn't communicating, but good thing that cell phones are like a computer nowadays. So welcome to the June 16th Tuesday Rotary meeting. We've got an exciting program today and looking forward to it. So we'll kick it right off and have Joe start with our All right, and thank you. And with that, we'll move right into our invocation today. I'd like to welcome Ian Fletcher. Ian.
Let us pray. To the mighty and gracious one, thy loving kindness is the fulfillment of a life filled with promise and opportunity. Teach us how to love each other. Teach us how to understand each other. Teach us how to trust each other. Thy faithfulness is excellent to all of us. This country continues to reel with misunderstanding, misperception, unnecessary destructions, and loss of life. The coronavirus continues to cause fear around the world. The positive numbers are rising again, and there is still no cure. We look to you for a cure. Protect us all from this deadly disease and hurt and pain. Some neighbors are drawing the divided line in the sand. What is most impressive, on this day in 1858, Abraham Lincoln stated, "A house divided is against itself and cannot stand." Love is the thread that intertwines our hearts and minds in truth, fairness, goodwill, friendship, and a solution that is beneficial to all. Amen.
Amen, and thank you, Ian. A couple quick housekeeping items. If you are visiting today or a visiting Rotarian, go to the bottom of your screen, and if you can click on chat so we can all welcome you, that would be great. I should have mentioned that a little bit earlier in the program. In addition, as you bump into some of your Rotarian friends out and about, please remind them that they can get on YouTube. It is posted after our meeting fairly shortly, and be part of the meeting as well. they would just go after that for our Rotarians. They would go to info@rotarygainesville.org. Again, that's info@rotarygainesville.org. They can click on so they get the attendance credit, and that would be great. So if you could just go ahead, and if there's anyone updating the chat at the bottom, we'd like to welcome our visiting Rotarians. And I'll give that a few minutes, and we'll circle back on that as those are coming in and before we start the program. So no further announcements as of now, but we've got a very exciting craft talk today, and I believe we have a RYLA on. So if you could unmute your mic, and we're very excited to hear your craft talk.
Oh, thank you. Hello, great to see everyone today. Let me say how happy I am to have joined the Rotary Club of Gainesville, and I thank my dear friend, John Gregory, for inviting me to join. I especially appreciate the great philanthropic work the Rotary does, and I am proud to call myself a member of such a wonderful organization. In my craft talk, I will focus on the historic restoration business that I owned and ran in Brooklyn, New York for over 40 years. And I'm going to begin with the origins of the business because I think you'll find it interesting. My father, who was born and raised in Spain, became a sculptor. While still a young man, he fought in the Spanish Civil War on the side of the Spanish Republic against Franco and the fascists. At the end of the war, my father spent a year in a French concentration camp in Marseille, France. Before the German invasion of France, they opened up the camps, and he fortunately boarded a ship bound to Jacksonville, Florida. Then as now, America has become a beacon of freedom and opportunity. He made his way to New York City, where there was a large Spanish refugee community in Brooklyn at that time. His understanding of woodworking skills enabled him to be employed building Liberty ships during the war, and even as he struggled to learn the English language. When the war ended, he opened up his own woodworking shop in Brooklyn, married a Spanish girl, my mother, who he met in Brooklyn, and as my sister and I were growing up, his business grew. When I was in high school, after the school day ended, I would go to the shop where I began to learn woodworking and how to run the business and interact with clients. While my father ran the business, it was a general woodworking shop. But when I took over from him in '77, the New York City Landmarks Commission had already been established to assure the integrity of the city's architecture. Under my leadership, Heights Woodworking became a niche business, no longer doing general carpentry, but rather the focus changed to the restoration of historical buildings, not only landmarks, but also Brooklyn's famous brownstone homes with their fabulous unique moldings, custom doors, and windows. Heights Woodworking was recommended by the Landmarks Commission, with whom we had collaborated, and we received recognition from them for the excellence of our work. And my shop was able to weather the downturns in the economy over the many years, while so many other shops in New York City were forced to close, because we always had a highly skilled workmanship ethic, and we could manufacture custom work to the highest specifications, and often we were literally the only company doing that type of work in New York City. At times, we served customers outside of the city as well. Even today, it gives me great pleasure and satisfaction whenever we visit the city to see so many buildings that my company improved on in various ways. The beauty of my employees' work lives on. It was my great joy to employ some of the same men who had worked for my father for many years, and to hire many others who stayed in my employ for the duration. And it was a great pleasure over the years to hear of the employees' children who had graduated from college. The biggest setback we experienced was Superstorm Sandy that flooded my facility with over 6 feet of water from the canal that ran alongside the building. I had to make a decision then to close the business or to invest the cash needed to repair and rebuild it. And I was reluctant to close for many reasons, primarily among them that my employees would have lost their jobs. While we were coping with the damage that we were affected by the flood. Understanding when they were not receiving their orders as expected, and we survived but went on to flourish in the business. My business, my father started, represents the fulfillment of the American dream. I sold the business 2 years ago, but 10 years before that, I met my wife, Nora Hoover, who was living in Gainesville and commuting to New York City to work in the New York City schools. She developed a reading program that's under wide adoption in New York City, and she was literally commuting from Gainesville to New York on a weekly basis. And we began commuting on a monthly basis, and I fell in love with Gainesville. We retired 2 years ago, so grateful that we no longer have to leave this lovely city of Gainesville and to return to the bustle of New York City. Again, I am very honored to be a Rotarian, and I'm very happy to be here. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you for that, for your craft talk today. It really gives us some insight into your background. Very interesting what your father did as well. So thank you for sharing that with us today. Looks like I'm going to have some other guests, but right now in the chat box, we have Jeff, and is it Michaelman? Did I pronounce that correctly? District Governor nominee. So welcome to our Zoom meeting today. I'm glad that you're visiting and zooming in, as we say. So before I turn it over to President Chad, Julie, you wanted to list your guests when you announced the meeting. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to President Chad now, and we'll move forward. Take it away, Chad.
All right, thank you, Jason. I'd also like to welcome Jeff Michaelman. Jeff and I met, gosh, back in 2001 or something like that when I was a student at UNF. So it's good to see you again. It's been a long time. I don't have any announcements at all for today, so I would like to introduce Julie Waldman to introduce today's program. RYLA, Julie.
All right, thank you. Hello, friends. It's been a while. I hope everybody is doing well. I am really excited about today's program. You know, I'm a very strong advocate of our RYLA opportunities, which is the Rotary Youth Leadership Awards. You know that each year we send a number of students to the conference. Last year, our club sent 8 students, and we sent a total of 13 students from Alachua County to the conference, which was awesome. This year, of course, the conference was canceled because of everything that was going on, but we are so lucky today because we are going to have a presentation from 3 young people who have participated in RYLA both as students and as counselors. I'm going to introduce all 3 of them and then turn it over to them for the program, which I am certain you're going to really enjoy hearing about. First, I want to introduce Ryan Walsh. Ryan has been involved with RYLA for over 6 years. He started out as a high school student and attended as a conference member. He then became a counselor, and he is now serving on the executive board, and he's responsible for programming. Ryan is a Gator grad, and he's going to be attending Georgetown University in the fall, studying international relations. Next, we have Elijah McCoy, who is a graduate student at Western Carolina University, studying higher education and student affairs, and he's an alumni of Stetson University. Some of his hobbies include acting, singing, cooking, and graphic design. And finally, we have Gabby Gibb. She's a junior at University of Florida. She's studying biology and wants to become a doctor of osteopathic medicine. In her free time, she loves to hike, kayak, or anything outside. So I'm going to turn it over to these 3 people, these 3 young people who are going to give you a very exciting program. So I'm going to turn it over now to Ryan Walsh.
Hi, everyone. Hear me and see the presentation up on my screen today. First of all, I want to say thank you all for inviting us to come present about RYLA today. I really appreciate the opportunity to contribute and share a little bit more information. Thank you to Julie, who's not just been a great contributor to RYLA, but also a great mentor for me. So I really appreciate the opportunity. I also want to say thank you to Elijah and Gabby for joining me in this presentation. So like Julie said, my name is Ryan Walsh. I've been involved with RYLA for 6 years now. I attended back in 2014 as a student, and now I am fortunate to be the program chair for the first time this year. I'm really excited to start looking ahead to 2021 as we get RYLA off the ground. But first I want to jump into what is RYLA. I know for potentially new members or people who aren't familiar with the program, that may be a big glaring question that you have in the moment. So at the surface, RYLA is an intensive 4-day leadership conference hosted at a local college. For the past 2 years, it's been at Stetson University, and prior to that, it was at the University of North Florida. And Rotary clubs sponsor rising juniors or seniors in high school to participate in this conference with the overall mission of developing their skills as a leader, as a member in their community, and as someone who really promotes and fosters the ideals of Rotary International. The program is really oriented on Rotary's service mission, and throughout the entire conference, they get a very thorough understanding of what Rotary is and how it contributes to its communities that it's active in across the state, the country, and the world. So first, I do want to briefly talk about the 2020 RYLA conference. As Julie mentioned, unfortunately, we did have to go ahead and cancel it this year. All Rotary Club presidents were notified of this in early April. And the bottom line was that unfortunately staff did not feel like it would be safe to ask the clubs or the schools or the parents to send their students to a conference of over 100 people in June with the unknowns of the coronavirus pandemic at the moment. But with this in mind, we are very eager to try to work on some kind of alternative where we can at least offer some of the RYLA sessions to students who may have been looking forward to the program or who are just missing the program and they participated in the past. So we certainly urge you all to stay up to date on our social media channels. Our handle is RYLA6970 on almost everything. You can certainly find us on Facebook, Instagram, all of that for more information as those developments proceed. So to the students, RYLA is a tremendous growth opportunity within 4 days. And the bottom line is they develop several skills. First of all, they build communication and problem solving skills. They develop strategies for becoming a dynamic leader in their school or community. And these skills are almost immediately, they're almost immediately able to take these skills and return back to their high school and their family and their community to put them to work. They also unlock a tremendous network of people with a similar experience. They also get several mentors. I can speak from personal experience. I still keep in touch with nearly all of my RYLA students that I had as a counselor. I still keep in touch with people I went to school with, or excuse me, that I went to RYLA with. On a more personal basis, I actually met my girlfriend of now 5.5 years at RYLA. So I still keep in touch with her, obviously, on a daily basis. But it is this awesome community of people who look out for you and have a shared experience and help you grow. I also want to add to this slide something that's not on here, but I think is important for a lot of students, is it's their first exposure to a college campus, or really what college is for a lot of people. They're living in the dorms. Most of the counselors are young members in college. And for me, it really solidified the notion that I wanted to go get a 4-year degree, kind of move out of town and do what I could at a 4-year university. And that translated, of course, to me going to the University of Florida. I apologize, I didn't know if a lot of people were coming here today. I don't know if you guys can hear that in the background, but if I need to speak up, just let me know. But yes, it is a really great opportunity for them to see a college campus, see how it works, and learn from mentors who are a little bit older and have been in that experience. So I want to break up RYLA on a day-by-day basis now. I think the way that I've always conceptualized it as a counselor is that as each day progresses, you kind of peel the layer back. On day 1, for example, the sessions and the skills that are imparted to them are very much surface level. We start very quickly by introducing them to what Rotary International is as a whole, to its service mission. But by day 4, which we'll see in a couple slides, we're really asking students to take an introspective look at themselves and closely analyze their own unique skills and abilities and their struggles and how they can harness those to make a difference in their community. But more specifically, just to kind of get into the technical details, as soon as participants arrive, they're assigned a specific counselor in a group. These groups are typically 10 to 12 members, and we typically have about 100, if not more, students at each RYLA. And they really grow and develop strong bonds within these groups. It does take the whole 4 days most of the time, but I would say most of my best friends that I gained from RYLA and so on have been other members of the same group as I have, because they have such shared experiences. Day one has a lot of professional growth sessions, such as interviewing, resume writing, personal and business ethics, and a College 101 panel that most students really enjoy. So it's a little bit more lecture oriented, but we try to keep it interactive, keep it light. And then at night, most students have a lot of time to cut back and really get to know one another. Day two's focus is all about community and citizenship. So in the morning, students are assigned a service project in the area, and these can vary from volunteering at a homeless shelter to going to the Humane Society or building with Habitat for Humanity. We have a great local partnership in DeLand, and we always have great nonprofits and organizations who are eager to have our students come and help them. Most students often say that this is the best part of RYLA, that they really get the concrete idea of what it's like to go out in their community and contribute to something meaningful and see the results of their efforts. In the afternoon, students participate in Rise Against Hunger, formerly known as Stop Hunger Now, to package thousands of meals for developing nations. It's a really energetic, high energy atmosphere. We ring a bell for every thousand meals that are packages. So students kind of get that notion that with every minute they're spending working towards something, someone on the other end is truly going to benefit from that. So it's something that I think is a fantastic way to instill the value of service. And then at night, being in DeLand allows us to engage in team court with the Volusia County Courthouse, and it allows students to learn about the criminal justice system and participate as a jury in a trial of their teen court offenders. And certain students can actually go ahead and volunteer to be prosecutors or defense attorneys to even dive in a little bit more if they have expressed an interest into that kind of career field. So on day three, like I said, we're starting to peel those layers back a little bit more and more, and we start trying to impart students with the skills to make a change in their sphere of influence. And so for a lot of them, this is their Interact Club, or if they don't have an Interact Club at their high school, they can come back and start one, and they can really take these concrete skills and go back to their communities with them. Some of the sessions on day three include 7 habits for young adults. There's also a few more lectures about how to manage your social media and present yourself professionally, about ethics, and students really have expressed a lot of interest in these and taken a lot of sincere value from them. At night, we have the formal dinner at which we invite all local Rotarians in the district to come attend this and learn and meet our RYLArians. And at this dinner, 4 participants who have really displayed the ideals of RYLA are presented awards for their achievements at the conference. Shortly after, we do dismiss the Rotarians who are there visiting, and we allow the students to really have a good time at a dance. We bring in a DJ, we decorate the gym or the conference room, wherever we're at, and let students have a great time for several hours that night. And then finally on day 4, like I said, this is where we ask students to take a look inward and reflect on what they've experienced and seen the past 3 days, but also acknowledge and address some of the ways that they may be similar and unique from each other, and try to break down stereotypes that might exist in our different communities from the students who attend RYLA. This has been a tremendously impactful day for most students. It is a chance for them to grow closer to the other RYLArians, to their mentors, but it gives them the ability to come to terms with any struggles, any hardships they may have in their life, and come away with a severe increase in their confidence and self-esteem, and empower them to go back to their communities and and do everything that we've taught them and instilled in them in the past few days. We also make sure to include time on day 4 of how they can bring RYLA home from, such as their Rotary Alumni Association, and then making sure they each get a chance to go back and present to their local Rotary Club. So my understanding is that, of course, this would be the meeting the students would be doing that. It's unfortunate we can't have them here today to present to you guys, but we make sure that almost all students do that so that each Rotary has an understanding of why they should continue their investment in the RYLA program. So at this point, I also want to discuss how Rotary benefits from this. I look forward to Elijah after me, who's going to speak on this because he's had a tremendous story with Rotary. But all in all, when you send a high school student to RYLA, you're giving them an opportunity to strengthen their leadership. You allow them concrete chances to put service into action, and you show them how they can improve not their lives, but the lives of those who are in need and those around them. And your club gets, really a fantastic recruitment opportunity in the students who may have never known what Rotary or Interact is and are now energized to go back into their community and start an Interact club. But you also get to introduce yourself to parents who may not be exposed to Rotary or who may have been too shy or a little bit scared to join the organization. And you can break down those barriers and make sure that they understand that Rotary is a welcome and a diverse atmosphere for them to be a member of. I want to say, actually I'll start here. And so this, is just to really drill down on that. It is a large audience of people who may not have known what Rotary is. And afterwards, they really have the potential to become lifelong Rotarians. I know, once again, speaking from personal experience, my high school did not have an Interact club. I was kind of sent in the more unconventional style. And since then, I have really been drawn to the mission of Rotary International. I know that it's something I anticipate joining in the future. And I think that just goes to show that the mission is prevalent and it means something to a lot of folks. So right now, there are concrete steps that this club can take to help RYLA along. First of all, make sure that you guys are budgeting some money as you look towards the next few years to sponsor students to attend RYLA. I also want to interject at this point that my understanding is this club does a fantastic job of how they interview students, how they select them, how they get the message out there to the several schools in the Gainesville community. Like Julie said, I believe you guys send the most students out of any club in the entire district. So it's very obvious that you guys take Rotary seriously, and we really want to commend you guys for that. But once again, we hope, even through coronavirus and everything that's happened in the past few months, you can continue to do so and to budget and pledge some money to send students to RYLA so we can take care of this and this amazing conference. And like I said, feel free to speak to neighboring clubs, your local Interacts, and your high schools so that students are aware of the opportunity, so club sponsors are aware of the opportunity. And feel free to come to RYLA, again, when it rolls around in 2021. We want you guys to be able to not just hear about the importance of RYLA, but see it in action. And the best way to do that is to come to the conference, specifically on the community service day or the dinner. I think that's an awesome opportunity to get a holistic picture of what it means and how students are instilled with something meaningful in the project. And then if you know anyone in the DeLand area, where I anticipate we'll be having the conference for the next few years, who needs a service project, be sure to reach out to them so we can try to help students go there. We also frequently tell students to come back and try to partner up with Rise Against Hunger to do that in their local community. So if you think that's something you guys are interested in, certainly encourage you to reach out to your students who are coming back from RYLA when they get a chance and help them make that a reality. And then again, looking forward to 2021, we want you guys to make sure you go ahead and submit the RYLA pledge online no later than December 2020, which is obviously far off. We know you guys have a lot of planning to do, but we are accepting those pledges right now. And then if you are even more interested, we encourage you to reach out to join the committee. We've been fortunate to have Julie on the RYLA committee for a couple years now, and we are always looking for more Rotarians who feel compelled to contribute to the mission of RYLA. So I do have a link here on a video from our staff chair, Sterling Powell. Unfortunately, with the Zoom, I can't show this video right now on time constraints, but I believe when this is sent out, you can access this or visit our site to see a special message from our staff chair, Sterling Powell. And again, I did include some testimonials here from our 2019 RYLArians. Actually, Marlon Perry, who is from Gainesville, was one of our award recipients, a fantastic student who I had an opportunity to interact with greatly, both Bailey and Michael as well. And I can't play these testimonials for you guys right now, but I encourage you to, when this presentation is sent out, click those links so you can hear them speak for yourself. And then now I want to turn it over to Elijah, who's going to further what I said about how the mission of Rotary has impacted him and how RYLA was a crucial part of that.
Hi, everyone. So my name is Elijah McCoy again. I'm actually from Macon, Georgia. I am a Stetson University alumni. So I just kind of wanted to talk about my Rotary experience a little bit. In the title slide, it said Rotary opens doors, and I definitely think that is very true. So I also did not have an Interact club in my high school. So my Rotary experience is a little different than the traditional student, especially high school student. So I was a part of our Student Government Association. I served as the junior class vice president and the senior class secretary when I was in high school. And so the summer before my senior year, my student government advisor, she received notification about a potential leadership conference that was sponsored by Rotary, and they were looking for students from our area. And so basically, I applied for the opportunity, I got accepted, and I said, you know what, this seems like it'll be fun. It seems like a great time. I went. I will say, so that I went to the Rotary. I was a RYLArian 2014 in District 6920, which was held at South Georgia State College. It was a great experience. Actually, a couple of those people that's in that photo that you see, I actually still talk to this day. And to kind of echo Ryan's point, a lot of times, a lot of these people are people that you'll continue to talk to and that you'll continue to build relationships with. And so from there, I graduated high school. And I will say that RYLA experience did help me feel stronger as a leader. So when I started back as my senior year, I just kind of made sure I was on top of everything. When I was in high school, I was an alternate drum major. I was section leader. I did a whole bunch of different things, had a lot of different leadership positions. And I will say like that RYLA experience kind of just helped me like solidify my position as a leader and understand like why it was important to be a leader in high school. When I graduated high school, I started Stetson University. And so I didn't expect to do anything with Rotary and Stetson. I didn't know any like opportunities at that point in time. But what I will say is our faculty advisor, Dr. Patrick Coggins, he's a member of the DeLand Breakfast Rotary, if you know who he is. He's kind of served as a mentor to me while I was there my freshman year at Stetson. And so one day he came up to me and asked about me possibly starting the Rotaract chapter again at Stetson. So I served as the president of the Rotaract Club, but I was also the chapter founder of that Rotaract Club, of the current chapter of the Rotaract Club at Stetson, which was actually a really great experience. At first, when he mentioned it to me, especially as ending my freshman year, I was not expecting any kind of opportunities of the sort. Wasn't really what I was trying to do. I was just trying to, still learn the ropes of being in college. But he saw something in me that I guess I didn't see in myself at the time. And he really wanted me to take this opportunity. And I basically said to him, I was like, Dr. Coggins, can you give me just some time to think about it? Well, the time he gave me was about 24 hours. He gave me a phone call and said, have you thought about it? I said, yep, and I guess we're doing it. And so that was kind of the journey from there. But what I will say, it was a great experience. That photo that is on this slide was actually our founding intake class. So that's all the people who actually started. That was the very first inductees of our Rotaract chapter at Stetson. And honestly, I will say being a part of Rotaract and even RYLA has definitely helped open for sure a lot of doors. I got to go to the conference in Toronto, which was my first time going to Canada, which was really exciting. There's a lot of other opportunities I gained through Rotaract and through Rotary. And so actually through Rotaract, I met the executive director of our RYLA. And so that was kind of how we knew each other. And because she was the Rotaract president at the original Rotaract chapter, that was at Stetson before it died out. And so when I was graduating Stetson, she gave me a call and she said, hey, I just have an opportunity for you. And I would really think you would be something that you would be interested in. And she asked me to potentially serve as a counselor for RYLA this past year. And I'm really glad that I took that opportunity because the group of guys that I worked with, they were just amazing to just listen to their story. One of the big things I will say about this RYLA in comparison to my RYLA experience, while my RYLA experience was dedicated a lot towards building leadership, I think this RYLA experience is more geared towards building that sense of family that I don't think I got in my RYLA experience. And that's what I really appreciated about this RYLA, which is why it's very, very important to keep this program going. Because that sense of family, just hearing them, mentoring a group of guys, you don't necessarily expect them to, talk about their story or their life experiences, but the fact that I was able to get them to talk about their life experiences and just to be able to feel that they were in a safe space and open up and really build a brotherhood, it was very, very powerful. And it also kind of reaffirmed the reason why I started my higher education journey. So like was mentioned earlier, I am working on my master's degree in higher education and student affairs. And a lot of reasons why I wanted to go into higher education was to help shape young minds and to help them be stronger leaders. And so this experience really kind of affirmed why I was doing it in the first place. And so it honestly, it's just such a great program that I definitely think we need to keep going. And so, we talk about going to RYLA, becoming an interactor, becoming a Rotaractor, and eventually becoming a Rotarian. And so my story is kind of the proof that this system works. The matriculation between going from RYLA all the way to Rotary, it works. Hopefully one day when I'm done with school and I've, solidified my place in society, I would love to become a Rotarian one day. But I did want to share my story and my perspective to say and it also does not matter where you start in the country or in the world. We also talk about Rotary being an international organization. And like my story proves, I started my Rotary experience in Georgia and then it transcended to Florida. And so I just wanted to say this has definitely Rotary has been very impactful in my life. And I've learned so much about myself and just about being a stronger leader through it. And so I would love to keep that going and to help others feel that way as well. And I think I'm turning it over to Gabby.
All right, thank you, Elijah. Yeah, hello everyone, my name is Gabby, and I just want to start by saying I love this photo to the left. I think it embodies so many things that Rotarians are: people of action, problem solvers, community leaders, and perhaps most importantly, opportunity creators. And Sterling said it best, that leaders are not born, they're made. And that's what RYLA is all about, an opportunity given by Rotarians to the future of Rotary. An opportunity that gives talented, driven kids a tangible skill set to fuel their communities, take action, and be equipped to solve the problems of tomorrow. I can't tell you what it's like to be a counselor without telling you a little bit about my Rotary story. I'll set the scene with, it was my third high school, and my dad joined the local Rotary Club for business purposes, but it soon became so much more than that. We still did not know our next door neighbors, but we found ourselves at a barbecue with our new Rotary family. And searching for the same sense of community in the school walls, I joined Rotaract. Then in 2017, I attended RYLA as a camper, and it was a game changer. Some of my closest friends today were from my cabin in RYLA. You see, RYLA gave me peace knowing I had a community across the state who I could lean on and who would hold me accountable in the pursuit of my dreams. With this newfound confidence, I felt empowered, and I came back to my community hungry to create change. I joined Nassau Youth Leadership, and with the public speaking skills that I developed at RYLA, I went on to win the Rotary Oratory competition for the state of Florida. The following year, I went to RYLA as a JUCO, and I saw the conference from kind of behind the scenes. And a lot of work and dedication goes into running a conference that's transforming leaders. But being a counselor was a whole nother level. It taught me how to lead without sacrificing empathy. You see, as a counselor, it is my job to guide students through a weekend transformation of their ego, skill set, and mindset. RYLA took me from being the new kid wandering aimlessly throughout the halls trying to fit in to a leader that is capable of leading other leaders. This is my 3rd year with RYLA and my 2nd year as a counselor, and some of my friends keep asking me why I go back. The easiest way to explain it is that some things, experiences like RYLA, are electrifying. We have an inside joke on staff that we're running off of caffeine and power naps. But it doesn't matter how tired we are, because when you walk into that room, it is buzzing with the enthusiasm and passion of tomorrow's leaders that are today's dreamers. And that is stronger than any cup of coffee. I think it can be best summarized by saying, I went to inspire, but I left inspired. And that's why I keep going back to RYLA. Thank you.
So first of all, thank you, Gabby and Elijah, for each individually sharing what RYLA has meant to you guys. So at this point, I think we are closing the presentation. I believe at the top, I was supposed to mention that we will be doing a Q&A and to go ahead and put your questions in the chat box. And I think President Chad is going to help navigate that for us. But just to finally close it, we really appreciate the opportunity to come here today and speak to you guys about RYLA. To hopefully teach you something about the program that maybe you didn't know if you were familiar with it, or even open the door to what RYLA is if you had never been familiar with the program. And once again, to close, I want to drill something in that every student who goes to RYLA is someone who has been recognized in their community for having leadership potential. And so when you all sponsor them and bring them on board to RYLA, you are loudly and proudly saying that this is there's someone you believe in, and this is something they'll benefit from, and you're growing that next group of leaders who are going to come back to your communities, to your Rotary clubs, and do something tangible that everyone in the entire community will benefit from. So if you have questions, or if you're interested in joining from the committee, like I mentioned, please do feel free to reach us at the ryla6970@gmail email address below, or visit our website at ryla6970. I also know personally, if you want to get in touch with me as program chair or further as the executive director, feel free to reach out to Julie, who can always give you my number and my personal contact information, or as well as Gabby and Elijah if you have any more questions. But we look forward to hopefully answering a few questions right now.
All right. Well, first, Ryan and Gabby and Elijah, thank you so much for being here today and speaking to our group. It was really informative and really great. And Julie, thank you so much for putting all of this together. You've all done an incredible job. Our first request is from Jeff Michelman. He had a quick announcement for us. So Jeff, I'll unmute you. Sorry about that. How's that?
That's great. Well, first of all, I want to thank Julie for inviting me today, because obviously the Gainesville Club is very committed to this program. And part of what happens is we look around the district to see who's committed, because we need to find good leaders for things in the future. So I am very pleased to announce that Julie has accepted my offer to chair the RYLA committee for the district.
That's great. Thank you so much, Julie. We have lots of congratulations on here. Congratulations, Julie. Your passion for RYLA is inspiring.
Thank you, Chad. As you can see from the young people who spoke today, it's easy to be inspired with such an awesome program. So I'm really excited about being able to be a more integral part of the district RYLA conference, but also, you know, I'm still going to be a part of the RYLA for our club, because I know our club is very supportive of this wonderful program.
All right, so as far as questions go, I don't see a great deal of questions. So while you all compile those and type them in, Richard, would you mind sharing with us what to expect for next week's program?
First, I'm going to jump a couple of weeks out into the future. So we're going to have a program that's going to kind of revisit a lot of the programs that we've had during the year, a lot of the activities that we've had, the socials that we've had, the community service work that we've done, the world service work that we've done. And for that, we need a bunch of photos. And I know from just looking back at our Facebook page for the whole year, there's a lot of photos out there. But of course, you know, it's nicer to have a little bit hand-picked photos, I guess, from our members. So I'm just speaking here to anybody that has photos from any of our social events, from any of our community service projects, the World Service projects that we do, anything like that. If you could send me some photos on email, you can just reply back to the emails that I send as the program chair. Just send me some photos or tell me which photos from the Facebook page you'd really like to see included, and we'll wrap all those up. And next week, our speaker is going to be Eric Lawson, who's the CEO of North Florida Regional Hospital. And Eric was the CFO here for a number of years, then went to Tennessee to be the division leader of a whole group of HCA hospitals, then returned here in 2018 to be the CEO of North Florida Regional. And he's going to speak with us about a lot of the challenges, of course, that hospitals have experienced during the COVID outbreak and the pandemic response. So it should be an interesting program next week, and probably not as inspiring as this week's program. This was very, very inspiring. Thanks to all of the RYLArians, and thanks to you, Julie, for your leadership in this program. Back to you, Chad.
All right, thank you. I still don't see any questions. A bunch of thank yous and congratulations sorts of things, but Ryan, and it looks like you guys may have covered everything. Outstanding young people. Thank you, Julie. Comments like that. So way to go, guys. That's great.
Sounds good to me. Thank you guys for having us. Really
all right. Well, if we have no questions, then I suppose our meeting is adjourned. I hope you all have a great week. Thank you for joining. See you next week.